Guptas and Vardhanas. In this capsule, under the Guptas and Vardhanas, we will get introduced to Vardhanas and learn in detail about the Vardhanas and their administration. Introduction to Vardhanas. The person in the picture is a Buddhist monk. Can you identify him? You have studied about him in your previous classes. Yes, he is Huan Sang, who visited India to study about Buddha. His writings about India is a notable source of Indian history during his time. He visited the Vardhanas and recorded his observation in his works. The sources of history of Vardhanas is, as you can see, Harshacharita and some copper inscriptions. Vardhanas and their administration. Rulers of Vardhana Empire. Pushyabhuti is the founder and Prabhakara Vardhana and Harshavardhana are the line of prominent rulers of the Vardhana dynasty from Thaneshwar region. Can you tell me who among these was the most popular ruler? You have studied about him in your previous classes. Yes, he's Harshavardhana.
King Harshavardhan. The downfall of the Gupta Empire in the middle of the 6th century brought about the breakup of the northern Indian kingdom into many small republics and monarchy states. Prabhakar Vardhan, ruler of Sthanaviswara, Thanesar, in present-day Haryana, was the first ruler of the Vardhana dynasty. He had two sons. The eldest son Rajavardhan, who ascended the throne after his father, and his younger son Harshavardhan. Rajavardhan was deceived and murdered by King Gauda, at which point the young 16-year-old Harsha swore to take revenge. Harsha waged war against King Gauda and won the battle. Harsha was consequently crowned the new ruler. He first united the kingdoms of Thanesar and Kannauj and then went on to bring Bihar, Bengal and Odisha under his command. Harsha then moved towards the south only to be stopped by Pulakesi II of Vatapi. As a result, the Narmada became the southern limit of Harsha's empire. He was also an author of repute, having penned Sanskrit plays like Nagnanda, Ratnavali and Priyadarsika. Banabhatta, Harsha's court poet, wrote the Harshacharitam, the first historical poetic work on King Harsha. Harsha's capital city, Kannauj, extended 6 to 8 kilometers along the river Ganges. He also had a systematic tax structure in place. 1/4 of the taxes went towards the administration of his empire. The rest was given away to charities and to further the arts and cultural endeavors in his kingdom. Later on in his life, King Harsha, a Shaivite by birth, became a follower of Buddhism. Under him, all religions and schools of thought like Jainism and Buddhism enjoyed freedom of expression. Harsha ruled ably for 41 years. With King Harsha's passing, the idea of a single kingdom ruling northern India disintegrated.
Look at the map of India showing Harshavardhana's extension and tell me, how did he expand his territory? He captured Kannauj, Bengal and Magadha. You know, no one could defeat him except for one king. Do you know who he was? Yes, when he tried to enter South India, he was defeated by Pulakeshi II of the Chalukya dynasty. This was the biggest defeat for him. Now children, let us go through the administrative arrangements of Harshavardhana and then fill up the table with the complete details. The administrative arrangement of Harshavardhana is praiseworthy. The King's Council of Ministers. Mahasandhi Vigraha, the negotiator. Mahabaladhikrita, the military general. Bhogapati, the tax officer. Land tax was the main source of income. Feudal chiefs paid the tribute to the king. When we look at this arrangement, what can we infer? It shows that Harsha had a well-organized administrative arrangement, doesn't it? Children, now let us recall the topics covered in this capsule. Under the Guptas and Vardhanas, we have understood about the Vardhanas and their administration. Children, here is an extended activity for you. Collect information on Hyun Sang and write a note on him. Children, take this down in your book.